Hello everybody, welcome. Today I'm going to plant a few bushes in my backyard food forest. I've been messing with some editing too, so it should be a little bit more interesting to watch. So stick with it and I'll show you where I'm going to plant and what I'm planting. The first thing we need to do is the kitty cat's going to help us take out some of the plants from these boxes. And these were more heavily packaged than some that I've got in the past. I can see it was wrapped in plastic. It's pretty creative, some creative packaging, I think. Would have liked to have shown more, but there's raspberries and honeyberries, some goji berries, and then the lingonberries. There's also some strawberries in there as well. I kind of get a kick out of how the cat just manages to get in the way. I put the box on him, and he's very helpful. See, I thought I was trying to move him. Maybe not. Oh, is it gonna leave? No. Yeah, we'll get to plant in here pretty soon, but I figured you could be a part of this. Some of the difficulties I have with boxes and cats and all that, but he's an innocent, cute, happy boy. Here's some of the strawberries that I have, and I had gotten 6 of those. I planted 3 of one type and then these 6 to see which ones were spreading. It's kind of hard, difficult to tell. They're not always labeled as June bearing or ever bearing. This is one of the areas I was thinking about planting, and this a little bit further on, but I've kind of filled out these areas except for this one. And here I'll show you a lot of the stuff as far as plant density. I have spruce and pine in the back. There's walnut and pear and sugar maples everywhere. On the bottom left, there's a cherry bush, jujube tree, a couple more sugar maples, a plum tree, and then I have another elderberry, another cherry, and then an apple tree. So to place them, I kind of just randomly just found a couple of spots to put them, and that's essentially where I put them. Doesn't have to be exact. Just walking around trying to space out these bushes can kind of be hard because a lot of this stuff is 2 years old and it's fall, so there's no leaves. So trying to think of how big the bushes will get. If it's a goji berry, be about 4 foot tall. But if it's next to a Cornelian cherry tree could be 50 feet tall. So, but the soil was pretty easy to move and dig into. You can see here, all of this has been covered by grasses for the past 3 years. So it really has. It's actually blocked out a lot of grasses, which is a normal thing in prairies. Grasses grow really long, and they actually limit the growth of total grasses. But really, I skipped through some of the in between parts, but really it took 3 scoops from that little shovel, dust a little bit of dirt on there, and then once I get my camera in place, just to kind of show you what it takes to film these, trying to get it so the tripod doesn't tip over. Yeah, it really just takes a little bit of that, and then we grab some grass and get some water on this. And I wanted to show here just how much water I put in. I could have gone a little bit wider in a circle here, but you see all the water's pooled up there. You just let it soak down, and then you give it another watering. And I usually keep an eye on the weather, so I know, it's usually, especially in the fall, it rains pretty much every night, and I have a rain gauge in my yard, so I keep an eye on that. But watering in a plant is definitely huge, and then getting some of these dead grasses as a mulch, cover up all that bare soil, and limit the growth of these longer grasses that would block out the sun. This is a second bush, but I wanted to show this one because of how easy. I just move this grass out of the way and it's just a blank spot. So I moved some of these other grasses. You can see how easily it just goes in. What I did was then I grabbed some of these other grasses that were kind of just in the way of my hands and the shovel moving. So like here I grabbed some of the grass and then I grabbed this stuff just to get it out of the way. That way, because it's kind of annoying, but also it's easier for me to see, and then when I have all that ripped off I can just basically put it back down around the freshly planted bush or tree. This is the same process I use for just about everything, but as you can see, you just grab out clumps, you get it planted in. It's just as simple as that. With this, it's so much easier working with soil that's been covered. A little bit of grass and it's all done. And then for any of those that are watching this now, it's still, I mean it's fall, but still have some warm days. So any last minute orders that you'd like to do for bushes and trees, I would get those in. I usually go as long as it's not too cold to be outside and the ground's not frozen, I'm still planting. Thanks again for watching. All those bushes were actually planted about 4 days ago, so if you're in central Indiana, just remember it's not too late to plant. I'm going to be putting out another video here next couple days of about 1,000 flower bulbs that I've planted. I just need to get them sorted into the time of the year that they bloom. I like to separate those and then kind of plan out where I'm going to plant them so I can get some flower coverage throughout the year. So thank you for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Alright, bye-bye.